Take it easy and solve the school lunch problem with SPAM. S-P-A-M.
こんにちは、タイガークローラジオ。You are listening now. Fuck J.
You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Number 1 in vintage computer and video game entertainment. And now your host, Critical Failure.
What's going on, everybody? It's time for Tiger Claw Radio. Yes, friends, it's that time again. We're close to Christmas. You know, just before I went on the air, I had tried to start the show, and I lost track of how many days it is before Christmas. So much so that my train of thought derailed, and I had like a solid 15 seconds of dead silence on the air. So we're just going to backtrack and start that again. No big deal. It's been quite a week, everybody. I've had a good time. I've played some games. I went to work. I saw some family. And I've been jamming to some chiptunes. So let's see. So last week we heard... what was it now? We heard the City Pop collection. Now this week, if you give me a second to open my Bandcamp here. Bandcamp. Alright, here we go. Battle of the Bits, right? That was the other thing. Battle of the Bits came out with an album like the same week. And we're going to listen to that now. So give me a second to dig it up here. My goodness. Okay, Cleater, who is on every single one of these. This track is called Highway 24. It looks like it's a collaboration between Cleater and Golden Dennis. Again, this one's from Battle of the Bits. You can just head over to battleofthebits.org, click on their Bandcamp section in the upper right, and get their latest one. It's always free. They make their latest release free until the next one comes out, and then it gets a price tag. So get it now. Don't wait. But here's a sample. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Got No Time to Lose. Man, that is a good track. That's a good track. It has a bit of an old school feel to it. Not old school like it sounds like an authentic chiptune, but it reminds me more of like the era when I first discovered chiptune, when I was getting like Null Sleep albums off of 8-Bit Peoples. Before I even discovered 8-Bit Collective. 8-Bit Collective was already around at that point, but I didn't really know about him yet. Yeah, man, that's a great track. Great track. So with that, boys and girls, let's kick things off by heading back to the Vancast. Now I got 2 stints in the Vancast this week. And let's do the first one. I can't remember what was talked about. Let's find out together. Morning, everybody. It's 6:23 in the morning, 36 degrees out. It is time for the Vancast. It's Cyber Monday. Whoa! Cyber Monday, everybody. Whoa! Head on over to Amazon.com. Make sure you get off this right here on Cyber Monday. And with that, I am off to do my day at the office. Give me a second here to pull out. It's weird. I feel like we've driven to work in 36 degree weather this winter, or this year, but I haven't. We've done it, and there hasn't been frost on the windshield. Oh gosh. Something must be wrong with my thermometer. I don't know. Who cares? Time to go to work, everybody. How was your Thanksgiving? Hope it was good. Mine was good. Ate some turkey. Saw some family. Got some games from the Steam sale, which was great because I missed out on the Halloween one. But I got some good stuff this time out. Give me a second here. What did I get? Last night I picked up Screamer 2, which is an old school racing game. Old school, like arcadey style car racing game. I looked this up yesterday, but I can't remember when it came out. Late 90s, 98, 97, something like that. So the physics are pretty fun, but it's not as robust as, say, like a Need for Speed kind of game. There's only 3 tracks, and that's about it. So I played that for a while, and that was really cool. So I would say, like, typically they want $10 for this game, and I paid $5 for it. So I feel like I paid more about what it was worth. But I'm getting my $5 worth. So Screamer 2 was one game. I picked up the original Disgaea, which I haven't run yet. I picked up a flight sim game that I haven't run yet. I think it was called like EX Layer or something like that. Some sort of name I would never guess. Mostly I was trying to get multiplayer games going of some of the peripheral River City Ransom games. River City Ransom Battle Royale, and then River City Ransom All-Star Sports Challenge. Together, those games are $6.50, so I bought those from multiple people. And I had some fun with that, particularly with Battle Royale. I used to play the Famicom game back in the day. Give me a second here. All right, time to hit up the grocery store. Back in a minute. All right, there we go. We made it. Coming out of the grocery store, everybody. On my way to the office on this wonderful December morning. What's the date today? December 2nd. That's right. We're in the Christmas season, everybody. Christmas! Christmas! Oh, man. I get so tired about people poo-pooing on Christmas like it's a bad thing. I enjoy Christmas. Christmas season is great, man. I remember when my wife and I first got together. We had an apartment. Didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a car. Getting to work was a big deal. Everything was a problem. But we found a way to have an awesome Christmas, man. We got like a lawn ornament Christmas tree that we borrowed from my mom. And we put it up inside the apartment so that we had a Christmas tree. It was one of those where it was like a plastic spiral of lights that made a cone shape. There you go. That was our Christmas tree. And we would go to the thrift store and buy a bunch of stuff from the thrift store. So from the thrift store and from the used bookstore, we were able to amass a great big pile of presents for each other under this under this lawn ornament Christmas tree. Why? Because we were poor and we were young and we were having a great time, and we were able to make something out of not much, which I think there's a lot of times in life where you're going to be called to do that. So Christmas is a good thing. I like Christmas time very much. And now we're older, we got kids. It's definitely children's holiday. I put a lot of thought into making sure there's something special for each one of the kids. Oh, excuse me. So they can grow up thinking Christmas is awesome too. Because it should be, right? I remember being a kid and getting opening up all the presents and stuff from my mom and dad. It was good times, man. That's the kind of thing that sticks with you. So as we march into Christmas, that means we have yet another Steam sale just around the corner. And what's interesting about this now is now we're in like a paradox for me, because I've got a Steam sale that's going to be here for Christmas, and then like a week, maybe 2 weeks after that, I've got MagFest. Excuse me. So I gotta be careful about how I spend my money. You know, the up and coming MagFest kept me from going crazy with the loot in the Steam sales. For example, hang on a second. Yeah, okay, we're good. For example, Tekken 7 was like $12. Passed on that, as much as I think it would be fun. Soul Calibur 6 was down to $20. And that one I'm kind of still waffling about. This is being recorded on the 2nd. The deals run to the 3rd, so I don't know. I might still go back and get that one. And then Resident Evil 2, of course, the remake for Resident Evil 2 that everybody was going wild for last year, that dropped down to below $20. That's like $18 right now. Yeah, man, just a little bit of patience, and you can snap some of these games up for really cheap. Game like Resident Evil, there's no other way to do it, because, man, that's a single-player adventure through and through. Resident Evil 7, the previous game, didn't even have a mercenaries mode, right? So there's no reason. There's no reason at all to be like, oh well, let's get it early and take advantage of the thriving multiplayer scene. Nah, none of that. Yeah, good stuff, man. You know what else I need to get if I'm going to get something? I need to get some sort of a saving device for the Sega Saturn. I've been having fun with the Saturn again over the past couple of days. I sat down and poked around with the Sega Saturn version of Resident Evil, which was pretty rad. Just yesterday. Pretty rad indeed. But I don't have a way to save. So a game like Resident Evil, if I'm putting that in now, it's really only just to tinker around a little bit, see how far I can get with a single run, no death run. Excuse me. Yeah, and that's I gotta fix that, because there is some awesome stuff for the Sega Saturn. Yeah, that's a system I want to buy more games for sure. Sega Saturn, I think right now, is the only system that's making me sit down in front of my TV and play a console. It's the Sega Saturn. Not all of my other consoles are even hooked up right now. Like, my Famiclone is still hooked up, like, on a downstairs TV. Occasionally I'll fire that up and play some pachinko. What else have I been playing for the Saturn? I played Resident Evil, and then there were a couple of games that I tried. Like some shmups. Darius something. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. Well, here's another one for you. So if you like listening to the MP3 versions of Tiger Claw Radio, for years now I've been working with Podomatic for distribution of the MP3s. I open up I put a version of this on YouTube. YouTube listeners, how's it going? That's like the video format. But then there's also an MP3 that goes direct to Podomatic so that you can, get it on your phone or that sort of thing. So I've been using Podomatic forever. Now there's limitations, of course. I can only have like maybe 4 to 5 episodes up at once. They don't download very quickly, and there's like some bandwidth caps. And occasionally I run into technical problems where some episodes just won't go up there. So the service I'm using to handle the MP3s, I've been thinking about switching to Podbean. Podbean's been around a long time. If you've been a fan of the show for a while, you might remember I had a Podbean account way back in the beginning, like the first few episodes, back when like I had a co-host, Systems Overload. Podbean was the first service I went to. I went to them before going to Podomatic. So they're a vastly different service now. But my old account is still there, so I fired it up and I was taking a look at some of their limitations. Now they offer better distribution. Like I'll be in more databases. If you run the I can't think of what it is now, but the prominent podcatcher services where you can download podcasts onto your phone are tapped into that database, so that I'll be included in those directories. That's a big one. The problem is I only get 2.5 hours total of podcast time uploaded at once. That's a big deal. That means 2 episodes max, maybe only 1 if I do a deluxe episode. So we got that 2.5 hour limit, and then on top of that, I can't upload anything that's over 100 megabytes. So 100 megabytes is like, it varies, but it's usually like an hour and 15 minutes. If I'm pushing an hour 20, then it depends. Sometimes it'll be under that limit, sometimes it'll be over. And I went back and looked at a lot of the old episodes to see what would and would not make that limit. So this past week, when I uploaded 313 or 312, whatever the last episode was, I did it on both Podomatic and Podbean. Because it fell under that limit. So if you run if you run some sort of RSS reader to collect your podcasts, then hopefully Podbean should be able to provide that service. For now, we'll see. If the limit becomes a problem, then we'll just have to do what we can do. Like right now, I'm more inclined to say I'll run both services along with YouTube, and let's just say I do an hour and a half show, which happens occasionally, then Podbean would just get a little snippet that says, this episode was over the limit, follow the link, catch it on YouTube, catch it on Podomatic, that sort of thing. I don't know. I've maintained for the past couple of years, if we ever reach $100 monthly on a Patreon support, then I'm going to make it a 2-hour show, 2 hours every week, which I fully intend to keep. But I think at that point, if I make it $100 monthly, then I could probably pay for their premium hosting package, which would open up some of those options. I don't know, man. Distribution is tough these days. It's always been tough, but being able to get a work out there, regardless of what kind of work you're talking about, whether it's podcasting or making music or webcomics or whatever it is, being able to get whatever it is out there and get it promoted is just as much of a talent as creating the content, in my opinion. And from talking to people, most often people who have one of those talents do not have the other. I see a lot of really mediocre content being pushed in all the right ways. Then I see a lot of really excellent content not getting the attention it deserves just because the content creator isn't playing the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's always something to bear in mind when you're pushing your projects. The results came in for the Cheese Dance Junior compilation. That was the latest compilation over on Battle of the Bits that I was able to submit to. I think they wrapped submissions like 2 weeks ago, so I've been talking about this one for a little while. Track list came out last night, and I'm not on it, which is I'm kind of bummed about it, to be honest, because I feel like this submission was much better than the previous submission, but I still didn't make the list. So what are you gonna do? I don't know. When it comes to making music, it's like, this is the way that I like to put it in perspective. Forgive me if I've said this on the air already. When we were children and we would get out our crayons and we would draw pictures, the intent was never to be famous. The intent was to draw a picture. And you would show it to the people you cared about, show it to your mom, show it to your brothers or whatever. Maybe if it was good, it would get up on the fridge for a while. And that was your run. That was your publicity run for the picture that you drew. And that was enough, because you could create art for art's sake. And it turned out that that was enough to enrich your life, because you could appreciate it yourself and just in your little circle. And that's the way I think about making music, right? So if you're going to sit down and make some ambient drone music, it's probably not going to get famous, you know? Probably not going to go viral. That's viral, man. I can't wait. I hope this goes viral, man. No, that's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean it's not worth it to finish your project, whatever it is, whatever it may be. And that's the way I think about making music. I realize when I look at what I'm producing that it's not anything that's going to stick out. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not going to be on the top of any chart anywhere. That doesn't mean it's necessarily a waste of time. I think this is also evident when you are flipping around on YouTube and you hear people say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to make my new album," and like everybody has their music project that they're working on. Absolutely everybody. And then that I found that depressing at first. It's like, what do I have? What musically do I have to offer that you can't get anywhere else? Well, maybe not much, except that this is mine. So, make your art for art's sake. That's it. Even if the whole idea is the project is completed and I learn from it so I can make a better project. That happens. Starship Amazing did it. Zoom Internet. That's my that is my submission as evidence. Listen to their Zoom Internet album if they haven't already erased it from the internet. Spoiler alert, it's bad. Love you guys, but it wasn't good. Wasn't good. It was the first album in a duo that produced a lot of awesome music, but they definitely had their learning experiences. All right, so music production rant over. Black Friday came and went. Did you guys do anything for Black Friday? I sure did not. I don't go out for Black Friday. My wife and I both have histories in I want to say retail, but that's not true, because she worked retail and I worked food service. But we were both in this like front-facing public service kind of jobs, especially early on. So when it comes to Black Friday, we don't like to go out. I worked at IHOP for a couple of years, and the holidays, you know, the key day when everybody's off, that's when you're working, if you're in the restaurant industry. So I remember, you know, Christmas Day, going into work. Thanksgiving Day, New Year's Day, going into work. I don't really remember Black Friday being anything special. Like, I remember Thanksgiving being crazy. Thanksgiving at IHOP was weird, because it would be super, super busy, wall to wall, from the morning until about 12 or 1, and then it would die out. So the best we could figure is that all the moms and dads who would be preparing meals, you know, Thanksgiving meals, wanted to be treated to breakfast. And that was Thanksgiving at IHOP. So we went out once for Black Friday, but this was like almost 10 years ago now. And we went to like a department store or something and got some, I don't know, blankets or household items or something like that. But we certainly, I don't see any point in getting involved in that fight that is the Best Buy line. Best Buy still has their line that people do every year to get in there and get whatever. But now it seems like, first of all, now it seems like all the stuff you can get online. You can get all your deals online. Second of all, it seems like you're not really getting, like, I question how much value there is on Black Friday. Because we know for a fact, it's been said before that particularly Best Buy will push low production, low quality items on Black Friday. Do you remember E-Machines computers from like 10 years ago? E-Machines computers used to make a special model of computer just for Black Friday that used even lower grade parts. And that was their Black Friday deal machine. So you say, I'm getting a deal, man. I don't know about that. Are you sure? You sure? It sounds like you'd have been better off paying the extra $75 and just getting it 2 weeks ago. And then there's this thing about like, what day is Black Friday exactly? Do you know? Because I don't. I always thought Black Friday was the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was on Thursday. Then you had Black Friday the following day. Then you had Cyber Monday. Now it's all a big blur. People were talking to me about Black Friday deals before Thanksgiving. It's like, really? I don't know, man. I don't know about that, sir. And now it's Monday morning. I guess this is Cyber Monday, right? Yeah, Cyber Monday, and there's still Black Friday deals up on Amazon. It's Cyber Monday, man. They don't even have the decency to change the banner from Black Friday to Cyber Monday anymore. So I don't know. I didn't really do the Black Friday thing, but I did get online and order some guitar pedals. Not much to speak of. I ordered some real cheap ones. I got a reverb pedal and I got a compressor pedal. I got a real super cheap Chinese overdrive pedal. And these are like $15 a piece. And I feel like there was another one, but I can't think of what it was off the top of my head. So I got these guitar pedals. And then I also ordered a Eurorack module because I'm still working on my Eurorack. It was an ADSR, like an envelope generator. That one was a deal at $60. $60 for a solid Eurorack module is an absolute steal. But this wasn't a Black Friday deal. This is just what they cost. So so that's pretty sweet. And I guess that's about all I got. Now I get to wait patiently while my stuff arrives in the mail. Which stuff from Amazon is showing up like faster than ever. Like you can order something like early in the morning and have it show up at your place that day. Right? There was a time in my life where I'd buy something off of eBay and it would take 3 weeks, and that's just what it took. Circa 2007, you buy something with a money order back when you could still do that. So you'd have to go get the money order and then snail mail it. It would get there. Then we'd have to wait for the person to cash it and have it clear. Then they would snail mail something back to you. 3 weeks, brother. And 3 weeks was A-okay too. It's not like I was like, oh man, I can't believe this is taking so long. Nah, it's just what it took. Now it's like, it's been 4 days. Where is it? It's a different world, man. All right, how we doing? 24 minutes in, my goodness. All right. I can tell this is running on too long as it is. I've got to go do my Monday at work. And with that, I will see you guys back in the studio. Back again in the studio. We are right on the 30-minute mark. You guys know what it is. This is a Patreon-sponsored program. It's only a few people. It's only a few select individuals who have looked at their financial resources and said, yes, I can give a slice to TCR to keep them up and running. So to these precious few gentlemen, I offer early access to the show. As soon as it gets done, then they get access to it. And I also read their names off in a hall of distinguished gentlemen. They are Hemrock, James, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Dorabka, and Konstantin Kelman. Thank you guys so much for your support. I hope you're having a good time. And with that, let's go back to Battle of the Bits and listen to another track. This one's from Beak. It's called Charging Up. We're back again in the studio, and there's no time to waste. We got one more quick trip to the van, and we'll call it a week. And then I guess we'll do the fail bag, and then we'll call it a week. All right, back to the van. You're listening to TCR. Morning, everybody. It is 6:25 in the morning on this frosty December morning at 37 degrees outside, and we are off to work, boys and girls, to do our Thursday at the office. So I came across something interesting on the Webernet last night. There was some talk about Twitter and even Tumblr, if you still manage to go there occasionally, for whatever reason. But there's a thing now where there are bots that are cruising the social medias, and they scan for the word t-shirt. And the idea is, if an artist posts a piece of artwork and someone replies with, "I would like to see this on a t-shirt," then what happens is the bots pick it up, they grab the art, and they put the art on a t-shirt all automatically. And that t-shirt gets sold, from a Chinese manufacturer. Wow. Well, we knew that they must have been doing some sort of automated scanning to pull for t-shirts, because this happened to Bithead 1000. Bithead 1000 put out his t-shirt on eBay. They sold out real quick. Chinese manufacturers picked it up and started manufacturing duplicates like overnight. This wasn't something that he put on like an article. He didn't put it on social media. He just had his videos. And then they somehow picked up the spike in a specific t-shirt sale, and they were like, all right, we're selling it too. So if you tweet out, I want to see that on a t-shirt, then somebody's going to steal the artwork and make a t-shirt. Okay, so it happens. But the reason why I find this interesting to talk about is because in order to fight this, people are doing some creative things. Like one guy opened up MS Paint and made a little image that said, "I steal artwork, don't buy t-shirts from me." And then he got everybody to say, "I want to see that on a t-shirt." And consequently, some dummy actually is selling a t-shirt that says, "I steal artwork, don't buy images from me," or whatever. Kind of funny. And even better than that, there was one guy drew Mickey Mouse and then wrote, "This is not satire. This is copyright infringement. I'm stealing Mickey Mouse. Disney, please sue me." And sure enough, that is a t-shirt that's being sold. So, that's pretty funny. I don't know. Not something I would usually go over here on the Vantcast, but that was funny enough, trolling the art theft t-shirt bots, that I thought we should talk about it just a little bit. Man, oh man, is it cold, boys and girls. This is where I can feel it in my fingertips driving to work, reaching out and holding the wheel. It's a cold one. Spent last night playing Screamer 2 on Steam, which is pretty cool. A little like, I don't know, it's a racing game that I would place somewhere between PS1 and PS2 era graphics. Like, it doesn't quite hold up to the PS2 Gran Turismo games graphics-wise, but it looks a little better than Ridge Racer on the PS1. Good game. It's only got 3 tracks though, so very small software package, but plays good. Screamer 2, they sell it for $10. A little steep for what it is, but that's what I've been playing. My son and I played that last night, which is pretty cool. The old-fashioned scoreboard with the times, the track completion times, which is good because you play against the computer-controlled drivers, and it's last every time, man. There's no beating those guys. And it's not because they're so good. It's because, like, when I'm in first place, right, or even in second, there should be an adjustment to the line, right? The person behind me should drop back a little bit to make room, to avoid a collision. This is how racing games typically work. This is how racing works. Right? But if you pull ahead in Screamer 2, man, those cars just smash right into you like you're not there. And then ultimately you get brushed aside. So I don't know. Not a perfect game. As a matter of fact, thinking about it now, I might just switch over to time trial rather than doing the racing. But the environment looks cool enough. The actual, like, the way you take turns and stuff, the physics of the driving are solid enough. And I like these old racing games. I like old arcadey racing games on the PC. So, fun little holiday sale type game that I'm going to play for a little bit, and then it will be quickly forgotten. But what I find interesting is when I installed Screamer 2 and I set the desktop, I set it to produce a desktop shortcut, which I'm doing more now because the Steam library is just atrocious. It's absolutely awful. So when I set it to drop the icon on the desktop, I swear on everything that the icon that it produces is stolen from GOG.com. I swear. GOG does these signature icons. They all look the same. They're circular. They're high def circular coins, and inside the coin is like artwork from the game. So you can create icons, and you'll be able to tell the games apart just by looking at them. But then again, they also all kind of look uniform, so you know if you're looking at a GOG icon or not. This is the GOG icon of Screamer 2. So I know that over the past several years, Steam has been bringing over very old games to kind of stay competitive with GOG. I think in this case, they just took the GOG implementation and that's what they're selling. So, I don't know, that's kind of weird. I like old racing games, though. Most fun I ever had with an old racing game was Rage Racer on the PS1. You guys ever play that game? I don't know where Rage Racer fits into the Ridge Racer series, but I know it's one of those types of games. But that was like an early PS1 game that would clock my time, back when very few games did that. So when I went to save on the memory card, it would say, okay, you've been playing for, 12 hours, 13 hours, whatever. And I remember it crossing into 12 or 13 hours and never really putting that much time into a racing game again. Oh. That was a fun one, though. The tracks were very limited, but they solved that by making like multiple paths. So yeah, there was only one track, but that one track had like 4 different tracks in it based on path. And then on top of that, when you ran the track, you got credits, and you would use the credits to unlock cars. So there was always a progression, which Screamer 2 doesn't have. The big problem with Rage Racer that ultimately got me to stop playing it was I was young, so I would drive on automatic transmission, always. Always drive an automatic transmission. I have no interest in learning to shift the gears. That was me at, I don't know, I guess 15 when I was playing that game. 14 or 15. So eventually you reach a point where in order to get the next good car is manual transmission only. So here's 15-year-old Alex going like, I don't know, man. I guess I'll try it. And then just going from doing very well to not getting any traction at all. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to learn to drive all over again in this video game. And that was the end of me really playing Rage Racer. But I swear that is one, even though it has these dated PS1 3D graphics, right? PS1 was that era where they were in love with making 3D games. And a lot of those 3D games did not age well visually. Even though it has that style 3D graphics, that is a game you could go back to today and it would still be fun. It would still be fun. It's a good game. Rage Racer. Rage Racer. It's a little disappointing because I know there was a PS2 version of the Ridge Racer games. It's like Ridge Racer 5 or something. And it didn't... I don't remember it as well, but I do remember thinking that it didn't quite hold up. Right? I'm inclined to think it was even like a launch title for the PS2. If not a launch title, then like a first year title. But yeah, I would even be willing to throw down $5 to order that one on eBay to try it again. Especially now that I have my PS2 emulator set up so I can do it on my computer. Yeah. I don't know. How was Ridge Racer on the PS2, guys? Do you remember? Let me know. Can I get some Ridge Racer in the chat, please? How we doing? 11 minutes in? Can you believe it's December already? It's December 5th, too. It's not even like the first... the first week is almost over. December 5th, boys and girls. I'm still trying to get my Christmas lights up. I'm having a hard time doing that. Getting the Christmas lights up outside. we got them out. We got them out of the closet. But I had the chance to do it one night. It was raining. And then last night I had some time to do it, and there was other stuff the family needed done. And so, all right, tonight's the night, right? Tonight I'll get home from work and we'll put the lights up. Nah, I got a friend who's doing like a happy hour birthday thing at a bar that's like an hour away on a weeknight. So I'm gonna try and drive out to do that. So I don't know. Maybe like 2 weeks into December, I'll get the Christmas lights up. When do you guys put your Christmas lights up, right? Well, Christmas lights, anybody? When does that happen? I know we're all getting older, and some of us don't really do that anymore, but I still like to do that stuff, man. I have Christmas lights in my drawer at work that I'm going to put up today, like in my cubicle. I like that Christmas stuff, man. I don't know why people poo-poo on that every year. There's always somebody like, man, Christmas, man. Why don't you put it there? I don't like it. Shut up. This is the first season I get to play my Chiptunes Equals Win Christmas tape. Ordered that last Christmas season, and it took 5 months to get here. So, yeah, I'll dig that one out. Throw that on the stereo tonight. I'll be jamming out to that. That'd be cool. Alright, how we doing? I spent some time last night running scales on my guitar, which I haven't done in a while. I got some arpeggio patterns off the internet, and I was like, we'll just run these, you know? Just to try and get some of the old magic back. I recently got a hold of a compressor pedal, which I've never had before. I never owned a compressor pedal, and I came across one for like $15 a few weeks back. So I was like, all right, we'll just, you know, this is a little mini pedal. We'll try that. I don't know. Whole idea of a compression pedal is while you're playing, if it takes your loud tones and brings them down a little bit, and takes your soft tones and brings them up a little bit. And since the soft tones are brought up, what happens is if you play a note and hold it, that note has a lot more resonance. So people will get compression pedals and use them as like a sustain, right? Which is something I've never experienced before. Personally, I think it gives a little bit more low end to the sound. Makes it a little meatier. And I play on cheap hardware, so that's a welcome change. My guitar that I use is the same guitar I got when I was 14 years old. When I was 14, my mom, I was talking to my mom, and just like on a whim, I was like, hey, Mom, I want to play guitar. Can you give me a guitar? And she was like, yeah. And we went out and got one. She signed me up for lessons. It was incredible. She was just like, yeah, I'm on board with this right away, which is something I never experienced with my parents. You know, there's always, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, and it's going to be a lot of work, and, you know, but yeah, I want to get into making some music I want to play some guitar, and, you know, she was like, absolutely, let's go. So hats off to my mom on that. She brought me down to the local music shop, and we bought a Washburn 3/4 neck. A Washburn, I can't remember the model name. I think it's like the Maverick series. I don't know. So it's a Washburn. They don't sell it anymore. Washburn's still around, but they're not like a top tier company. It's like a student grade guitar. The guitar itself is $150. She got me a Washburn guitar, 3/4 neck, so it's a little shorter than most guitars. And she got me a PV amp, like a PV 15 watt little practice amp that I don't have anymore. So this is a student grade guitar that I got at 14 years old. I'm 35 and I still have it. I still play it. That's the guitar that I have. I have other guitars. I got BC Rich I got from a friend of mine. I got a really sweet acoustic guitar. I've got a Martin Dreadnought acoustic. And I got a bass and a mandolin and a couple other things. But that old Washburn, that guitar is like an old friend of mine. And being that it has a smaller neck, it's much easier to run scales on. So I have my little compression pedal, and I have a couple of guitar pedals that I bought last year. And I was running scales last night, and it felt good, man. It felt good. There's a thing I'm seeing people say a lot out on social media mostly when people are arguing politics, but you want to fight the urge to just consume products, right? That's what I hear people saying quite a lot. It's like if all you ever do is consume products, then there's a problem. And I don't know, maybe there's something to that. I just think being creative in some way is a great way to smash that cycle, right? Not that there's anything wrong with consuming some products. Like if you want, hey man, I like video games. I want to see new video game, and then hear new album when it comes out, and then maybe see new movie if I'm interested. You know, nothing wrong with consuming a little product, but I like to be creative, man. I like to do something that's going to enrich myself based on my own momentum, right? If I'm going to sit down and make music, even if it's making, like, opening up Famatracker and making chiptunes, or heck, even just like getting out a pencil and drawing a picture, it's like how much or little that's going to enrich my life depends entirely on me and my actions. I can't blame a company, you know, for the outcome, unless it's like I'm blaming the company that produces the supplies I'm using, I guess. You know, I guess there's something to that. Like one of the pickups on my guitar is going bad just because it's so old and so cheap. So I guess I could get mad at Washburn. But that really wouldn't be, you know, that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is it's on me, right? I kind of like that feeling a little bit. I think it's good for me, you know? I don't know. I guess maybe I'm rambling. This is a video games podcast, so I don't want to put down consuming products. Hey everybody, if you want to consume products, consume as much as you want. Hooray! There's nothing wrong with it. Consume as much as you want with no need for enrichment. Eat chocolate. Don't be healthy. Pursue a diet made entirely of sugars and fats. I think it's a great idea. That's what I'm doing. It's working out good. So it's Thursday. The weekend's not far off. What am I actually looking forward to playing this weekend? I've been playing a lot of these idle games lately. And I was clicking around this morning before work. And I don't know. I think I might be hitting the wall on these things. I still play Territory Idle, which is a good game, except that I got stuck in a place where I was, wait, all right, I want this thing to unlock, but it's going to take like a week or something. And I'm still waiting for that to happen. And that cycle has kind of made me lose interest in that game a little bit. And then I play a game called NGU Idle. And I've really been enjoying NGU Idle. But I hit a point this morning where it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting tired of this one too. Because it's like, both of these games have this thing in common where you play them, and then in order to progress, you have to start all over from scratch and do everything again. And then rebuild everything just a little bit more. All right, and then once you get a little bit more, you got to tear everything down and start again. And that cycle, every time you do that, it gets a little longer, right? I've reached a point in NGU Idle where I'll play the game for like 2 days. And then I have to, you know, tear everything down and start again. And now it's starting to reach a point where it kind of hurts. It's like, oh man, I don't want to lose all my progress. And I hit a point this morning just before I left for work where I wasn't making any progress anymore. It's like, all right, it might be time to tear everything down and start again, stronger. I was like, ugh, I just can't do it. Maybe when I get back from work tonight. But yeah, I was really into those idle games for a while because I have so little time to play, and the whole concept is they kind of play themselves a little bit. So they lend themselves to my my lifestyle a little bit better than, say, a high definition graphics game that takes like a solid 10 minutes just to load up and get into it. I can just click right in, click around, and click out. And then I know when I go deal with whatever adulthood tasks I got to take care of, at least I have the comfort of knowing that my video games are playing themselves at home. Oop, 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 oop. But that doesn't answer the question of what I would actually be playing this weekend. Maybe Dead by Daylight. We talked a little bit about Dead by Daylight last few weeks. I've been going back in and giving it a run again, although it's been a couple of days now. I know there's a new killer coming out, right? Like a samurai guy. And I'm really interested in that because if you're familiar with the game Darkstalkers, it's a game I've talked about here on the air a bit. Darkstalkers is an old Capcom one-on-one fighting game, kind of like Street Fighter. I know most of you guys are familiar with it, but for those of you who aren't, it's like a forgotten Capcom franchise. So because Street Fighter is so popular, what ended up happening was they stopped making Darkstalkers games, and they just cherry-picked a few of the more popular fighters, and they just put them in the Street Fighter games occasionally. So we used to play this game Darkstalkers when I was a kid. My older brother had it. And there was a samurai guy named Bishamon. He was the samurai who wore cursed armor. And this new killer looks a lot like Bishamon from Darkstalkers. I know it's not supposed to be him. I get it. It's an original. It's an original work, not a copyrighted work, not a previously copyrighted work. But it reminds me a lot of Bishamon. And Bishamon was my main in Darkstalkers, so it kind of makes me want to, check it out a little bit. I had some good killer matches like a week or two ago. Maybe it'd be fun to try being killer again. It's hard to main killer, man. I don't know how you guys who play the killer every time do it. I think there's nothing worse than playing as the killer and just having like 2 matches in a row go terribly. It's really tough, man. On the other hand, having even an okay match as a killer is like super, super rewarding, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I'm almost at the office now. So maybe the answer is Dead by Daylight. I'll check it out this weekend. We'll see if the new killer's out, and then we'll give it a try. There's like a short period between sales. The Thanksgiving sale just ended, and the Christmas sale is just around the corner. So I have like, I don't know, a couple weeks to play the games that I bought in the last sale, so I can play some Star Control. That'd be a good one to play. The original Star Control. So I bought Star Control and Star Control 2 in a package. I could play Disgaea, get my strategy games on. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Or maybe I'll just run scales on my guitar. But for now, since it's Thursday, I'm going to go do my day in the office, and I'll see you guys back in the studio. Well, the results came in for the Cheese Dance Junior competition, and my song didn't get picked. It happens. But since it didn't get picked, there's no reason not to play it here on the air anymore. Now, mind you, the Cheese Dance Junior, the reason why they called it that was it's supposed to be very reminiscent of super cheesy 90s techno. And I feel like I got pretty close. It's a good track anyway. Again, made with Linux Multimedia Studio. It sounds very different from the Famitracker work I did. Take a listen and see what you think. All right, so that's it. I get it. It's not perfect. But the results are in. So in the all gear submissions, that means the submissions that didn't use like a particular protected format like Famitrack or something where you upload a native file as opposed to an MP3. So there were 38 all gear submissions, and I was the 33rd track in 33rd place. Now, amongst all of the submissions, there were 47, and of the 47 submissions, I was 39th. So I thought I was doing a lot better than I actually did. So, it is what it is. I felt pretty confident about that. At least it was a decent, solid entry. So, what are you going to do? Them's the breaks. You got guys like Cleater who have like 10 submissions on every single competition, and it's like there's no way I can compete with that. It just ain't happening. All right, and with that. But at least, at least, here's the thing about Battle of the Bits that I like. If you submit to Battle of the Bits and you lose, even if you lose badly like I do, it's still a positive thing. That track got out, people heard it, and now that it's over, I can do what I want with it. That's my big problem with Chiptunes equals win, is they have an exclusivity clause. So when you submit it, they've got it for 6 months. So you submit it, and it doesn't make the track list, and nobody ever knows. And you can't play it anywhere else either. So, that's a drag. That sucks. I'll stick to Battle of the Bits, even if I'm losing. What are you going to do? At least I'm having fun. Alright, so let's head over to YouTube. I know there's not a lot of comments this week, but I've got a couple, so let's see what we got here. Alright, what do we got? We got one from Filzer5051, who left one on the Double Dragon Full Hearts trick on the NES video. A long time ago I made that. So if you ever played Double Dragon on the original Nintendo, there was a glitch in the second level where you could rig things up just so that you could get all of the hearts and all of the powers relatively easily. Now this was a video I made a while back, good couple of years ago. So he says, I thought I used to beat the guy on the top of the fence. It's been so long though. You know what, Fizzler, I gotta tell you, this one trick, and if you've not seen it, this is a video worth watching, and the reason I say that is because this is the single most contrived, convoluted trick I've ever done on any game that has actually worked. This doesn't seem like the Konami code where you do it and it's like a trick that everybody sort of knows. This is more like something a developer left in there so that they could test things or something like that. This doesn't look like we were supposed to know about it. But yeah, it's cool that people are still watching that video. So we got one from Mecha Menace who writes, favorite NES games you own or used to own? Ooh, oh boy. It's funny that you bring this up now because just like 2 nights ago, I was standing in front of my NES collection and I was just looking things over, looking at what's there and thinking about what I would play if I could just sprawl it out on the carpet and play like it was, 1997 or whatever. So some of the best NES games, or at least my favorite, Spy Hunter has always been probably the most revisited over the years. Spy Hunter is a beloved NES game to me. I was very good at it at one point. Now not so much. Now if you listen to TCR, you might remember a couple of years back now, we did a high score battle on Spy Hunter, and of all the high score battles that we did, the Spy Hunter one had the best turnout. Everybody made a video. Even Michael Smith made a video and posted it up. Sean, Alex Swingle, all those guys. Everybody chipped in and played. It was great. It was so much fun. It was that was like a certain magic that I don't think we were ever quite able to recapture. So that's probably my most favorite. Some other highlights, of course, River City Ransom. It was for a great many years what I considered one of my all-time favorite games. I still do, but I think it's been eclipsed by Quake in the years since. So River City Ransom is definitely a great game. Speaking of River City Ransom, I wouldn't mind playing Nintendo World Cup Soccer again. And if you don't know the connection, Nintendo World Cup Soccer it uses the same characters as River City Ransom. River City Ransom was a series in Japan, Kunio-kun games, and they did a lot of different games together. And one of them was a soccer game that we got as Nintendo World Cup Soccer in the West. That's a great game, man. I'm not much for sports games, But Nintendo, in their early years, they had some sports games that, that were much more fun and lighthearted, like Nintendo Ice Hockey. Is such a great sports game. It doesn't quite have the same seriousness that other sports games have. Makes it a little bit more fun, in my opinion. Ice Hockey is another great one. Oh man, yeah, a lot of good NES games. Let's see. Death Adder writes, I don't have a lot to add in this week, but have you seen the latest Dead by Daylight killer and survivor coming out? The killer is some samurai-looking dude, and the survivor is a female street racer from Tokyo who can reset pallets. I'm in. So they got somebody who can reset pallets. That is interesting. Interesting. I'm wondering what kind of what they're going to give her to balance the scales. Like, maybe she can reset one pallet, but she has some sort of problem. I don't know. Or maybe they just made her overpowered. Who knows? I did see the killer. The killer looks dope. The killer looks so cool, in my opinion. I like that samurai stuff. Good to hear from you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Julia writes, one thing that's been helping me a lot with Dead by Daylight skill checks is just concentrate completely on the little white part of the skill check gauge. Just focusing on that thing gives me a lot of great skill check points. I don't know, give it a try. It might help. Good luck. All right, so here's a question for you. How do you make out when you play a match and the killer has Hex Ruin? You know Hex Ruin? That's the one where if you don't hit the great skill check, then it sets your progress back a little bit. Because that thing always screws me over real bad. But I'm told, I was playing with some people on Discord, and they said if you do what you're describing, eventually you'll get better at it, and that Hex Ruin thing won't be such a big deal. But I don't know. It still gets me, man. Especially since there's certain perks that can like change the speed of the needle, so you can't always count on the needle running the same speed. It makes it very difficult. Especially since my computer skips frames in a lot of instances because it's none too fast anymore. It makes those skill checks particularly hard to get. But don't worry. I will not lose hope. I will not give up. I will not be beaten by some filthy casual Hex Ruin wielding killer. Still a great game, no matter how much trouble I have with it. Well, all right, boys and girls. We are 1 hour and 10 minutes in. And you know what? I'm sure I'm forgetting something very important because I had a list of stuff that I wanted to talk about when I was back in the studio. And I can't remember for the life of me what any of them were at this point. But, what are you going to do? It is what it is. We're already 1 hour and 10 minutes in, so if I let this run any longer, I won't be able to post it on Podbean. And with that, boys and girls, you know what time it is. Time to hang it up for another week. We've got Christmas to look forward to. And if you're somewhere and you don't have family coming in from out of town and there's really nobody you have to spend Christmas with, keep the faith, man. Don't give up. Don't let the holidays shake you. Get something to drink. Get a cup of tea. Get your favorite blanket. Get cuddled up and do whatever you have to do to make it through. Find a piece of your life to hold for yourself and be okay this Christmas. And you'll be just fine. Because I'm over here rooting for you. I really am. And I'll see you guys next week.